You're watching EASD TV, and with me now is somebody that I know you know very well, which is Hindrik Mulder, who's the editor-in-chief of Diabetologia. And the joy of having you with us is, first of all, you have this extraordinary overview of the science that's going on. So the hot science. So tell me, in the past year, what has really attracted your attention that's come into Diabetologia?
So I think more on a general level, if we look at diabetes research, some things are coming out now that are really exciting and almost mind-blowing. And what I'm thinking about is the hypoimmune approaches with stem cell-based therapies, where it's now possible to basically inactivate parts of the immune system that triggers rejection. And this opens the door for allogenic transplantation of islets, of stem cells. And if this really works at scale, this could be a tremendous leap forward.
Because in the past, one of the great barriers was, although, there were lots of things about islet transplants and all sorts of things, that it was never something that was scalable. And actually, the level of diabetes, scalable is actually critical, isn't it? Scalable, cheap, as you say, off the shelf.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if these approaches work and can be made safely, it really opens up so many opportunities. So that is happening. Also, some of the clinical studies on these stem cell-based therapies with replacement therapy for diabetes are now coming out and are being reported. And the results are looking quite promising. So this does seem to be a feasible route to go. It's not science fiction anymore. It's actually science.
Science fact.
Yes, science.
From science fiction to science fact. Now, you always have a special edition of Diabetologia along with a special presentation at EASD. So tell me a bit about that and what do you have in it?
So this year we are focusing on, I would say, the disparity in diabetes, its prevention, its therapy. And we've termed the special issue opportunities and challenges in diabetes. But honestly, I think it's challenges that we're seeing. And I think this has emerged as probably one of the most important factors in diabetes today, to make treatment available to as many people as possible. And sometimes it's a bit ironic that people are working extremely hard at a very high level of granularity, creating marvelous things, but at the same time we cannot even distribute the most simple therapy for diabetes due to political reasons, economic reasons, etc., etc.
So access is a problem, but also. And we're seeing this writ large in the USA at the moment, where diversity is being chased out of the scientific system. Yeah. And yet we know that diversity is enormously important in diabetes. I mean, not only in the different endotypes, but also the variation that you see between different parts of the world.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. If anything, the key word the last couple of years has been heterogeneity. And that's type 2 diabetes, it's type 1 diabetes, it's basically in any metabolic disorder. And trying to understand the complexity of this is absolutely fundamental to science. And then at the same time having a movement that seems to be politically motivated to simplify and to take out things that are unpleasant to certain people, not realizing how things really are, is horrifying. I think we as scientists, we need to stand up against this and keep saying that things are complicated. There is heterogeneity, there is inequity that needs to be dealt with, etc., etc. We can't stop saying that. just because it's politically incorrect to do that.
Are you seeing much movement in delivering better access?
I think so, really. This is, I'd say, a science in itself, understanding the inequities. And that's a very advanced scientific area. And they're making progress all the time.
Because what I'm seeing really in Diabetologia is that increasingly it's not just diabetologists who are publishing, but there's an extraordinary range of science going into diabetes research, and you're reflecting that in Diabetologia.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you bring that up, because we want to be a journal for all types of diabetes research. So we're not a clinical journal, we're not a basic science journal. We try to cover everything that's related to diabetes. And in doing that, we need sometimes to deal with some of these concepts that can be quite complicated. And I am definitely not a specialist, and my strategy has always been finding people who know things better than I do. And what we've done is that we've appointed a particular person to be a DEI editor for the journal. So it's Cheryl Pritlow. She's from Toronto. She's fundamentally a social scientist, but she's been active in the diabetes space for quite a long time. Knows a lot about clinical studies and how you design, etc., with DEI in mind. And she assists us in understanding the complexities of these issues. And it's been really a learning curve for us, and we are really grateful for having her on board. At the same time, I realized that we're going against the grain, because what's happening, particularly in North America, is exactly the opposite, where these elements of academia are basically, they are either pushed away, their funding is retracted, making it very difficult for this type of research to survive.
And it actually disadvantages so many people.
Absolutely.
And also, on the, I suppose, the genetic variation side, we might look the same, but, who knows what went on 10 generations back in my family.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you can't say that you're definitely entirely white, for instance. I mean, it's not like that.
No,
the body,
genetics
doesn't work like that.
Not at all. But I don't know. I think it reflects the insecurity that some people have, that in order to understand the complexities of the world, they become frustrated, and then things are simplified instead. It has to be this way, it cannot be that way, we don't like this, we like that, instead of embracing that it is very complex, multifaceted, and try to just realize that this is the way it is and work around it.
Now, in the new edition, which is a very good read, actually, it reflects all sorts of different aspects. I'm delighted to see that you've got a big section from patients.
Yes, absolutely. And this is definitely not something we have invented. I think this is a trend in clinical research in particular, that in designing studies, you do much better if you listen to the patients and understand their needs and how they can participate in studies most effectively.
And also, of course, their needs may not be the same as match exactly what's imagined by the researchers.
Absolutely not. So sometimes it can be quite surprising when you listen to what their view actually is. And I think it makes perfect sense to include their perspectives in an issue, particularly that's so devoted to the lived experience of diabetes, because basically that's what the issue addresses.
Now, you've had a baby. You've had a new addition in the Diabetologia family. Tell me about that.
Yes, but this is something that really brings me joy. And at the journal for many, many years, we've had to reject lots of papers that are of very high quality, but perhaps not within our remit. And also, some of the papers are perhaps better than I thought that they were, and they would have been, deserving of publication. So one way of harnessing that is to start another journal, and that's what we've done. So the new journal is Metabologia, clunky name, but that's the point. It's almost as clunky as Diabetologia. And we're also reflecting the fact that the concept of metabolic disease is continuously widening. So the remit here will be much wider than just diabetes. It will be metabolic disorders. But I still think that diabetes will be some kind of a starting point for many of the studies that will be published in this journal, because it is the EASD's journal.
So obviously you will be at the symposium, the Diabetologia symposium, big smile on his face. But as the editor-in-chief and as a scientist to your bones, what other sessions are you going to go to that you've got particularly marked out as things you must see?
I always try to go and listen to the prize lectures for many reasons. Typically, they are also an overview of a career, and these are well-known people.
Andrew Hattersley, for instance.
Yeah, that was one of the most amazing talks I've ever heard. And just listening to their career, what they've done, what they've achieved, it's just so fulfilling and inspiring. But I also like to go and listen to the younger scientists and their awards, so the Rising Star. And typically these people will, maybe 10 or 15 years later, will be awarded the big prizes. That's also a very nice opportunity to see where's the new science coming from. I like to wander around among the posters. It's for me, because I'm so busy doing these meetings, it's a little bit hard to really read the program in detail and sort of target specific presentations. But if you walk around in that area, suddenly you hear something, and then you see somebody who's enthusiastic, and then you listen in and you learn something new. I think that's just a wonderful thing.
And actually, when it comes down to it, all of us scientists, we are curiosity driven, and to hear something new and to realize constantly that we still know nothing compared to the knowledge still to be acquired.
Yeah.
It's fantastic stuff.
It is fantastic. When I was a younger person, I often felt frustration that I didn't understand, and I felt incomplete and insufficient that I didn't know things. But now this is my natural situation. I understand very little, and I'm just very happy to learn about new things. And it's totally understandable that I don't know everything.
And EASD is the place to do it. Hindrik, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, as always. So you have the Diabetologia Symposia, I hope, marked down to listen to or go to in person. And as Hindrik has said, just let your curiosity take the upper hand and go to things that you wouldn't have necessarily marked out, because you can always be surprised and discover a complete new area. There'll be more from EASD TV in a very short while. Bye for now.